available together with all the... Okay, perfect. So will be available together with all the other sessions of our previous webinars. Okay, so where I'm from, right now I am in Shanghai, in China, even though I'm from Italy. So originally, like Nicola, I'm from Italy, but I've been living in China for 7 years. And it's been a crazy experience. Yeah, so I can see actually you guys are from all over the world. Yeah. So Ecuador, Uruguay, English, but in Italy. Lucky you, Rachel. I wish I could be in Italy as well. I'm stuck in China for a very long time because of COVID. Montevideo, Uruguay, from Greece, Uruguay, Belgium, Canada. Wow, okay, Germany, Belgium. So we are truly a global community today, which is great, from every corner of the world, which is amazing.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for all of you to be connected today.
Exactly. Thank you all. And actually, I'm pretty excited today because it has been officially 1 year that we are hosting this kind of webinar. So we have been talking about several topics, from a pedagogical aspect to the marketing to artificial intelligence. So thank you to all of you, and also to all of the speakers that join actually our session. And today we are going to talk about synchronous and asynchronous training, and particularly how to merge those two different training sessions to create an holistic approach and complete and comprehensive learning experience for your student. Anyways, I don't want to add too much because I know that Giuseppe has a lot to say around this topic. So please, Giuseppe.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for the kind introduction. And thank you again to all of you for attending today. So before actually I start with the topic of today's agenda, I would like to give a brief introduction about myself for the new guests that are joining us today. I'm Giuseppe Tomasello, as I said, Italian, living in China. And I started Edugo.AI almost 5 years ago now. And it was the idea at the beginning. Edugo.AI actually was born for a selfish need of myself as a really passionate language learner. I was just arriving in China, and I was learning Chinese, and there was actually not so many tools that allowed me to learn in a personalized way. And so being a software engineer, I started building this tool. And then, of course, the tool evolved in what is actually Edugo today, which is actually a SaaS platform that can be used by education institutions in order to improve the pedagogical needs of the school. And so someone, Jesus is ni hao ma, from ni hao. Of course, now I learn Chinese thanks to the Edugo software, and now Edugo supports many languages. But I want to always say this story because it's really important that we start having the learner and the student at the center of our technology, because we believe that it's really important actually what is the learning outcome of the students. During those years, actually, we discover many things by applying technology into education, by applying technology to speed up the learning process. So today, actually, we're going to show to you what we discover, and especially when we merge the world of synchronous with the world of asynchronous in one holistic experience. So going to the slide. So today's agenda, in the first place, we're going to give some definition. So for those of you who don't know about what does it mean synchronous and asynchronous learning, we're going to give some definition of what are the pros and cons. And then actually we're going to introduce you a model that's called the SAMR model, which is a model for integrating technology inside the online learning setting. Nicole, there is still someone with the audio unmuted. Yes, so we can, so in this way we don't have any interruptions. Thank you so much. And last but not least, we're going to actually demo to you how we are applying this new methodology, which is actually merging those two approaches in the Edugo.AI platform. So stay with us till the end, because we're going to have actually some real applications and some real examples on how to do it. So it's not only theory, but we love to do practice because that's actually what we do every day. So we would like to show you real examples on how to do it. So in the first place, what is synchronous training? I'm sure many of you know, because now is a buzzword. Everyone is talking about synchronous and asynchronous, but I'll just give a quick definition for those of you who never heard about this. So synchronous learning refers to all types of learning which the learner and the instructor and the teacher are in the same place at the same time in order for the learning to take place. And the same place can be also like in a Zoom call, right? Not necessarily has to be offline, can be also online, but basically the teacher and the trainer, the teacher and the students are communicating in real time. So there is a real-time connection. So the pros are, of course, you have immediate feedback. There is a lot of interaction, and there can be also discussion, and also like there is a high sense of community and connection, because a teacher can have multiple students, and so there is connection both between teacher and students and also between the students in the classroom. What are the cons, especially in the online world which we live today? There is actually the problem of internet connection, which is sometimes can be a big problem for some students. It's not that flexible because, of course, you need to follow schedule, and you need to attend to the class that is already scheduled. And the learning pace is set by instructor. So in case you have a classroom with different level of skills, of course, the learning pace is not personalized, but is set by the instructor. So on the other end, we have asynchronous training, which actually refers to all type of learning that don't occur in the same place and at the same time. So in this case, actually, we are talking, for example, when you're using a learning management system and the student is interacting directly with content, right? So the learning happens between the student and the content. So there is actually the content in between, and so there is no direct interaction. And so the pros of this approach, of course, is that it's really flexible. So the student can learn anytime at any pace. So you don't need to actually to travel, commute, or even like it's really less costly, because of course you're interacting with the material or with the technology, so you don't need to actually have a real teacher in front of you. And as well as really scalable. So like you can have many more students. The cons, of course, there is not so much interaction, it's not real time, and the student needs to be really disciplined and self-motivated, because there is not an instructor that is setting the pace. The student needs to be really self-motivated to keep going. So in this slide, actually, we display some of the most famous tools for synchronous and asynchronous language learning. So those ones are really specific for our industry, which is language learning. So in the synchronous one, you have, of course, Zoom, Classine, and Microsoft Teams, many of those tools that we use every day. On the other end, we have asynchronous tools such as Google Classroom, Moodle, and Kahoot. Sorry? Okay, Nicole, please make sure that the audio is muted. So if you guys have any question, please keep it for the end. We're going to have like a discussion and the Q&A session. So right now, actually, we do just a really quick presentation and then we can interact. So thank you so much for that. So the problem of synchronous and asynchronous is that basically those two tools, they don't communicate, right? So there is actually those tools, they are not exchanging data about what is the student performance. For example, if a student does a Zoom call and then is jumping on a Quizlet, activities, those two tools are not communicating. And this actually is a problem. Why it is a problem? Because what we want is that we want to have a holistic experience, a holistic learning experience for students. And this actually problem is something that I encounter many times when I speak with school managers around the world, and they always actually say, okay, we have two different systems, and those two systems, they don't interact and communicate with each other. And so there is a lot of like opportunities in order to increase what is the learning outcome, if we only can find a way to merge those two approaches. and tools. And that's exactly what we're going to display today. So the problem is that we don't have a consistency across the learning experience because those tools are not communicating with each other. So now I would like to introduce to you this framework, which is actually like, this framework is gaining popularity lately, which is called the SUMMER model. And this actually is a model that it was created by Ruben Puente-Dura, and is actually explaining, it's creating like different levels on how you can actually introduce technology in order to extend the learning experience. And basically we are going from the left, which is enhancement, to the right, which is transformation. And we have different levels on how you can integrate technology inside the learning experience to make it more powerful. So let's analyze a little bit of each one of those boxes. So the first one is the S, which is a substitution. So this actually is a really simple way to integrate technology into online learning experience, where technology is actually a direct substitute, but there is no functional improvement. So for example, when you are bringing a PowerPoint in your Zoom call and you're sharing your screen, basically you're using technology to bring the material in an online setting. So you're using technology, but there is not functional improvement. It's exactly the same experience you have inside the classroom. So technology will allow you just to communicate this information, but it's not really actually adding any functional improvements. And we of course have many of different tools. Also, like for example, like Zoom or Skype are bringing the communication that was once in a classroom by using technology now is remote communication, but it's still the same kind of communication. There is nothing changed in the pedagogical approach. And so this is actually the simplest model, and I think is also the most used model. Why? Because actually it's the easiest to integrate, because you don't need to change. Once we move to the second stage, what we call augmentation, actually the technology is doing a substitution, but also there is functional improvement. Okay, so we have Alex that is raising his hand. So Alex, sorry, we go to the Q&A at the end of the session just to do not break the flow. So keep your question just a few minutes and then we are going to discuss. Okay, great. So for the augmentation part, basically we are adding some functional improvements. And a real famous example is Kahoot, right? So with Kahoot, actually, you are not only bringing your textbook to an online setting, but also you're adding element of gamification and interaction that are not possible to do when you're just using a textbook, right? And this actually is already enhancing what is the experience. So we're still in the enhancement phase, but it's not really transforming what is the learning experience. We're still actually following the same pedagogical approach. We just add tools to improve it, to enhance it. So now we're going to go to the transformation part of the framework. And actually the transformation part, the first stage is what's called modification. Modification is actually the technology allow for a task redesign. So now also your pedagogical approach changes because now you have technology, and technology now allows you to modify the way you teach. How? By having new tools that are not possible to have in a traditional classroom. So only via technology, you're able to perform those tasks. For example, Moodle or Google Classrooms allow you, for example, to tracking grades, to message students, to create a calendar, to post assignments, and all those things usually are not possible to do in a traditional classroom setting. So the way that the classroom is performed changes because technology is introduced. Last but not least, and which is my favorite, is what's called the redefinition. And here actually technology allows the creation of new tasks that previously are inconceivable. So here we're talking as completely like new kind of interaction that can emerge thanks to the adoption of technology. And we can have a transformation of your pedagogical approach, which also can have the benefit to improve drastically what is the learning outcome of your students, thanks to technology. And that's actually is the reason why we started at Edugo, because we know that technology can redefine the way we are learning. It's not when we are moving online, actually, we don't have to see it as a like, oh, we need to change the way we are actually teaching, but we say, oh, wow, we have now a lot of new tools at our disposal. How we can use those tools in order to improve what we have been doing in the past, to perform better. So at this stage, actually, we can create novel experiences. And there are some examples here. For example, like you can have a virtual field trips, right? So right now, the metaverse and VR are really, it's a buzzword. So what you can do, for example, if you can teach about the Mona Lisa and the Louvre, you can bring your students in VR in the museum. That was inconceivable before. You can have activities that are basically inconceivable without the use of technology. Okay, so in this graph, actually, we are displaying the different levels of the SAM model and how we believe that together with transformation, we have the opportunity to have a competitive advantage. And because we believe as we move more in the world of online learning, the students want to have a more innovative experience online, right? So they're looking for the new tools that actually can improve the learning outcomes. And so the more you redefine your pedagogical approach, the more we believe that you might have a sustainable competitive advantage. So just a few considerations about the SAM model. So the first consideration is that every step that you add, you are basically adding a new layer of cognitive processing. This is really important because every time we are moving up in this hierarchy, we are actually adding new ways that the students have to think and the new ways they need to process information. In this way, actually, is new ways of learning, right? And the SAM model is actually a state of mind. What I mean by a state of mind is that this model, what is today redefinition, in 5 years will be substitution. So we are actually, the new definition of today might become the standard before. Because if you think about a textbook is also a technology. So people don't think about that sometimes, but a paper textbook, it was once a really advanced technology. Now we took it actually for like not technology, but it is a technology. And so the SAM model is always changing according to what is the status quo, what is the current technology state, and is evolving over time. And actually what is really important also to mention is that if you don't do it, your competitors might do it, or they will do it pretty surely, because right now this process is involving all the people participating in the industry. So now we finish with the theory. So we go to the part that we love the most, which is actually like a real practice. And so we're going to show to you some real applications. And so at Edugo, actually, we worked a lot in the integration of the asynchronous and synchronous part of training. And so we believe that actually this merging of the synchronous and asynchronous can trigger transformation, right? And basically, according to the SAM model, can trigger redefinition. And so how you can use this technology in order to transform or redefine the pedagogical approach at your school. Okay, so Edugo actually sits in between those two worlds, right? And is actually merging the data coming from the synchronous and asynchronous part. So before I go a little more in details, I would like to ask Nicole to please share the screen. So we're going to show to you what we mean by the merge between those two worlds. I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, Nicole.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, fantastic. So this one is a platform that we deploy for this demo today. So usually the platform can be customized according to the school brand elements. So this is a white label platform, right? But today is actually for a demo reason, so we keep the Edugo.AI logo. So Nicole now is logging as a teacher. And the first task of Nicole is actually, we will ask Nicole to create an asynchronous activity. right? So in order to merge those two worlds, first we start with asynchronous. So this one you're seeing right now is what we call templates, which basically allow Nicole to upload content and generate asynchronous activities using artificial intelligence, which we will show you in 1 second. And you can have different kind of activities. So it can be from a video, audio, text, a podcast, an article, imagine any kind of like, linguistic content. So the one we chose today is a video, because videos are fun and are highly interactive. So we're going to upload a video, and this video actually is for learning Spanish. Okay, so our platform can be for learning many languages. We support 9 languages. So for the demo today, we are choosing Spanish. Also because we always use English, but Spanish is also deserve a lot of attention. And so Nicole now, what she's doing, basically she uploaded the video. Our AI system transcribed the content of the video. So those are kind of like subtitles, right? And what she's doing, she's selecting what we call the key sentences. So those are important part of the video that we think actually the student should focus on, because it might have some key language points that we want the student to learn. And yeah, here actually you can have an example. So the system is taking the frame of the video. You can play.
Una mesa para 2 personas, por favor.
Okay, perfect. So you can see actually the video is being splitted. Una mesa para 2 personas, por favor. That then has been translated into English. So a table for 2, please. And now the system, what is doing is taking all this linguistic content, and our AI is doing its magic. So is analyzing all the language, is tokenizing word by word, is doing a lot of things on the backend. So part of speech tagging. So it's really analyzing the content of the language. Here, Nicole actually can select some of the keywords that we say, okay, those are the keywords that the students need to learn. And as you can see already, the words are connected to a dictionary. So we have embedded in our system already like a dictionary from Spanish to English. And then now the magic is happening, because all this linguistic content is automatically transformed in a series of interactive activities. And these actually can happen in minutes, right? And that's actually one of really important points of our tech, that we're using artificial intelligence to automatically create all these learning activities without the teacher need to spend hours and hours of time in order to do that. So all these activities are being generated automatically by our AI system, and the input has been simply a video, as you saw. Okay, so now we have our lesson created for asynchronous training. So now we have our asynchronous material. And so as you can see here, there are different exercises. So see a little bit like Duolingo, but it was created on top of the content that you as a teacher decide. We have our Spanish lesson restaurant. We can actually do the merge, okay? It's called merge number 1, which is basically we bring the asynchronous content in the synchronous video call. So our platform supports also real-time communication, like supports the synchronous training. So Nicole now is starting a video call. Great. So the interface is really similar to all the video conference tools that you are used to, but it's specific for language learning. And in one moment, I will show to you what we mean. So now Nicole is actually, is logging on the other side. On the right side, she logged in as a student. Right, so we can actually show to you how the interaction works between teacher and student. It's really important to understand both sides of the platform. Great.
Okay, so you hear both sides.
Okay, perfect. So we have the teacher on the left side and the student on the right side. So now the student is logging in the platform and is connecting to the video. As we do that, actually, the teacher is able to, great. So of course, we need to ask for permissions. Okay, and then the student is logging. The first thing, actually, I will ask Nicole will be to, okay, once you admit the student.
Yes. I mean.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So now actually the student and the teacher are in the classroom. And the first thing I will ask Nicole is actually to record the call. So the call can be recorded. And then what we can do is to record the key sentence, for example. So let's say actually the teacher wants to teach some Spanish, specific sentences. So this can be completely customized according to the need of the student. So some content the student wants to learn.
Yo tengo una hermana. Okay. Not that good in Spanish, but it's okay.
Not bad, not bad. Okay, I think it was okay.
Okay.
And then we can record another sentence. So this is really important that this can be any kind of language content the students learn.
Hoy hace mucho frío.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So basically, this is the first tool that is embedded in our video call system that is, specific for language learning. That's what I say. Like our video call system is created for language learning, and okay, so the students can actually see these language points or sentences that have been created. And now actually we can stop the recording part. Actually, it's not that important anymore, and we can actually go and show to you what we mean by the merge that we're talking about, right? So we can actually bring the asynchronous lesson we created about the video we uploaded before in the platform, and we can actually bring it directly in the video call, which is actually bringing a lot of interaction during a video call, because one of the problems students have when they learn Zoom is that actually they lose a lot of interest and they lose, they get distracted. In this way, actually, you can add all these kind of gamified activities inside your video call during the call, and they can be used by many students at the same time. So here, for example, Nicole shared the activity, but all the activities can be shared. All the activities we created previously can be shared during the lesson. And the students directly, as you can see on the right side, can interact with the activities. And the teacher in the real time, she gets actually the answer. So the answer is appearing in real time to the teacher. So the teacher has this kind of like live feedback and can, of course, give feedback to the students in real time. Okay, so I think that we got the point. So you can bring this kind of interaction during the class and make, of course, a lot of fun activities. And okay, so let's say now we finish our video call. Let's see what happened next, because that's actually a really interesting point. We're going to see this merge number 2 from synchronous to asynchronous. Okay, so as you can see, okay, the student here, of course, can put like 5-star to the teacher and comment, and this will appear on the teacher profile. And here actually is the other merge, which is basically what we call a review. So basically, the student, after the call is over, is going to be able to access to the recording of the class. But not only that, with the content that has been created automatically from the video call. So for example, here, those are the sentences the teacher taught. So yo tengo una hermana, and the student can actually click on the I icon. I can go exactly to take the frame of when the teacher actually pronounced the sentence.
Hoy hace mucho frío.
Okay, okay, perfect. And here on the left side, actually, you have also the keywords that has been extracted from the lesson, right? So the student can actually go and listen to that. But not only this, so this is just a simple report. Now we go to the activities. So we create automatically a set of personalized exercises that's basically our asynchronous. So now those exercises are stored in the platform, and the student can go and access to those activities whenever he wants.
Yo tengo una hermana.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. Yo tengo una hermana.
Yeah, for example, this is a asynchronous speaking activity where a student can repeat many times what the teacher actually taught to him during class. And he can get real-time feedback on the pronunciation. You can see here, okay, Nicole, you did a great job. So it's all green, which means, okay, great pronunciation. And then you can also click on each word and go access to the dictionary. So there is a lot of interaction on the content, right? And that's why we call about redefinition, because of course, this is not possible to do not using technology. The technology has to be involved in order to create these kind of experiences. So basically by using technology, we are transforming what are usually like notes, like note taking, into what is actually now a really highly interactive learning experience. So all the notes that usually you take during the class, of course, are not that interactive anymore, and they don't have all these kind of additional learning tools embedded to that. So that's what we do at Edugo, and we can create hundreds of activities like the one you are seeing right now. Okay, so this is merge number 2. So basically, we got the synchronous content and we transform it into asynchronous material, which is another way to bridge those two worlds. So now I will go back to my slides and then just 1 more minute and wrap up, and then we open up for Q&A. Thank you so much for being with us till this point. So this is actually the way we are merging. So as I was saying, we have merge number 1. So asynchronous, merge, synchronous. So we created the lesson, uploading a video, create all these interactive activities, and then we brought those activities during the video call, right? So that's the first kind of merge. And the second kind of merge is basically from the video call, we are able to use the artificial intelligence to automatically generate asynchronous content, right? So that's another way we are merging those two worlds. And what are the pedagogical implications? There are many pedagogical implications on this, and it's part of what we call redefinition. Why? Because the first, merge number 1, actually is a typical flipped classroom model that I'm sure you are familiar with, which is basically now the student can also learn in advance because there's asynchronous content. And then during the class, during the live interaction, actually can focus on the production part, right? So the teacher can give more feedback about the production activity. So what's called actually the presentation and practice happens before class. And on the merge number 2 is also like the video call can be all focused on the production activity. So the student teacher can have conversation. And basically when the teacher recognizes the student is doing some mistake, let's say like it's doing a grammar mistake or pronunciation mistake, can create the content that then is available on the asynchronous part. So basically flipping, but on the other side, right? So first you do the production activity, and then you do all the more like, the presentation and practice activities after the class is over. And those are really important pedagogical implications. On different side, of course, we can discuss, because it's not only like, we love to create tools, but then we would love to give tools to educators and see how they're using those tools. But some things we have observed is the fact that the duration of a live session becomes really shorter. So it can be also like 15 minutes of a live class because you merge the asynchronous part after the class is over. So there are a lot of like a redefinition of the learning experience thanks to this kind of technology that is integrated in the classroom. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us till the end. And now finally we can jump into some Q&A. Before I wrap up, actually, I would like to give you our contacts, which is our email, and follow our YouTube channel to find the recording of this session and the previous sessions we did. Actually, we almost do one webinar every 2 weeks. So we talk about pedagogy. We talk about artificial intelligence, which is my favorite topic. We talk about marketing and digital, digital marketing and how to acquire users online. So follow our channels. And now, if you guys have any question, I would love to jump in. I can see actually some questions in the chat room. Okay. Okay, Jesus is asking, is it is in interlingua? I'm not sure I know this, is that a platform? I'm not sure about that. Sorry, Jesus. And it is a student who record the voice of the video, is not a native speaker. Exactly. So Nicole is not a native speaker. She's an Italian native speaker. And we use, as a demo today, learning Spanish platform. So yeah, we are not native speakers, even though I can speak some Spanish. I was living in South America, but sorry about the bad pronunciation. Okay, Anna is asking, how can the teacher influence which kind of activities will be created based on the lesson? Okay, that's a really good question, Anna, thank you. And what we do actually is we create a set of activities, or like a sequence of activities, using different, what we call templates. So the sequence of activities can be customized according to what is your pedagogical approach. I give you a simple example. So today we taught Spanish using English as a source language, right? So each sentence was translated in English, each word was translated in English. But we know that there is actually another pedagogical approach, it's called the direct method, where actually you are not using the L1 of the student, you're only using L2, right? And that actually can be customized. So if you, as a teacher, want to teach using the direct method, we can only include activities that use direct method without any kind of translation support. So each teacher can decide what kind of activities you want to include, because we have those templates, and so we can encode different pedagogical approaches. I hope I answered to your question. Okay, we have Alexander that is raising his hand. So Alexander, if you want, you can also unmute yourself and ask the question directly, or you can type in the chat as you wish.
Yes, hello everybody. I was curious, is it only restricted to language learning? Or maybe we can use it to other purposes. For example, if I want to teach in the same language, like a code of ethics for interpreters or something like this. And the other thing, this is well, Italian and Spanish, they are too similar, so it's quite easy for you to figure out Spanish, I guess. It goes in both ways. My Italian is I figure it out from my Spanish. No, I'm native Spanish native speaker. I'm from Uruguay.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was living in Peru, in South America. So yeah, it was, I would say, easier to learn Spanish compared to when I was learning Chinese. That absolutely, it is true. So my Chinese learning experience was terrible. And that's the reason why I started this company, actually. It was that bad that I had to build a tool. So going back to your question, actually, is a really interesting question regarding what kind of topics you can teach in our platform. Of course, our platform is specific for language learning right now. So all the tools that you find, for example, access to dictionary, or like generation of multiple choice questions, or the speaking pronunciation exercise, right, to give feedback on pronunciation, all those activities are designed for people who want to learn a language, usually L2 learners. So that's the point right now, but in the future we will love to expand.
Scusi, Giuseppe. I mean, okay, instead of dictionaries, we can have a glossary, for example. If we need specific words, the thing is we need it in 2 languages. For example, I'm teaching in medical environment. The medical denominations in different languages are different, and even the acronyms. So is it possible to incorporate that, or and the main thing, how much costs your program?
Okay. Okay. So it is possible. In the future, we would love to do something more specific for topics like the one you're teaching, and yeah. So we would love to expand there, but right now actually is not supported. So about the cost, actually we charge a subscription fee. Maybe if you want to have more information about the cost, we can send you like our pricing, which is actually available in our website. So if you go on Edugo.AI pricing, you can actually see is a subscription model. What it means is that you can subscribe as a language institution and you pay a monthly subscription to the service, depending which kind of tools you are using. And if you are an individual teacher, that's also okay, because we are actually experimenting with individual teachers right now, and we have actually some program for individual teachers that is not in our website. So if you are individual teachers, you can contact us, because we would like to hear more about you. Okay, Alexander, I hope I answered to your points, and in case we have any update on going other knowledge verticals, I will let you know. Okay, so I go back to the chat room for other questions. Okay, so we have Jay with a really long point. I will try to read quickly. So these are clever tools for translation, but language learning involves other skills as well, syntax, etc. Not everything is about vocabulary. I'm involved with higher level students, for example, C1, C2 levels, not just beginners. Does this address student-based writing or speaking tasks, larger, the more complex text inputs? Are you targeting these tools for a specific level? Thanks for sharing these tools and your suggestions. So thank you so much, Jay. Actually, these are really, really important points. And I have to say that we have a huge range of activities that are supported by our technology. The one we show to you today are like really simple ones, because it was actually like a really simple Spanish lesson. As you saw, actually, we really taught like the basic. So it was like A1, A2 maximum Spanish. I understand actually the need for higher level students is really different, right? So you need to focus more on production activities. And actually our technology supports that. For example, we have modules in our technology where actually the student can also write an essay, right? You can have some support by artificial intelligence, but still the feedback can be done by the teacher. So the asynchronous part is actually asynchronous, but still there is a human involved in the evaluation process, right? Our objective long-term will be to be able to create automatic assessment of production activities. That's actually one of our dreams, and that's actually why we do research with different universities in Europe in order to be able to build these kind of tools. But right now, those kind of activities are available, and the teacher needs to give the feedback. So I don't know if I'm answering to your question. I can see you are connected with video. Hi, Jay. Nice to meet you. Okay, great. In case you want to see actually more high-level activities, you can contact us, and maybe we can demo to you more specific activities. Of course, today was a quick demo. We didn't want to bore you with hours of explanations. But to trigger your curiosity, if you want to know more, of course, we're always available to talk. Okay, Sura is actually asking, does it work all languages, such as Arabic? So Sura, our technology right now supports 9 languages. On top of my head, I can tell you is Chinese was our first language. So we have Chinese, English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, Dutch, and German. Okay, so those are the languages we support right now. We are planning to add Arabic. Why? Because our product manager lives in Dubai and he wants to learn Arabic. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is because it's a really large market. So the Arabic will be our next language together with Japanese and Korean. So we're working on that. So we can keep you posted on the Arabic development. I have to say Arabic is not that simple language as the European ones to implement. So it takes some time to us to develop. Okay, Hannes. First of all, I think this technology is amazing. Thank you so much, Hannes. I appreciate. How do you guide the students learning all the generated content? In our SRS, which SRS, for those of you who don't know, it means space repetition software or space repetition system, which is like giving activities in different times to maximize memorization. So in our SRS system implemented, or are any other tools, tricks used to help the students with their time management or learning strategy to process their asynchronous content created afterwards? That's a really good point, Hannes. And yes, we support the space repetition system, which means actually the student is learning from the synchronous and asynchronous, and then all this information is memorized, right? Depending what is your performance. So if you are actually making a pronunciation mistake about a specific word, we are saving that mistake, and then we are, giving back to you, giving back to the student in order to practice later on. And that is following a space repetition software system that is optimized to maximize memorization. So first we show you the really frequent time, and then once you start making correct, we start to make it like the frequency longer over time, and this way actually students are able to maximize memorization. Thank you so much for your question, Hannes. If you want to test it out, then let us know. So we have Anna that is asking, where are your servers based and what kind of data do teachers and learners have to share? Okay, Anna, really good point. We are actually a company that is a cross-border company, because we have servers both inside of China and outside of China. And actually that's, we work with schools that do also cross-border, which means we have Chinese schools in China, they have teachers in China and students in Europe, or the other way around. They have teachers in Europe and students in China. So we are cross-borders, and we have also servers both inside and outside of China. We have servers actually in Europe as well. And we are compliant with the GDPR. So the data of the users in Europe stays in Europe. So we don't share that information outside of Europe. I'm not sure where, Anna, where you are from. So maybe we can discuss also about that for your specific requirements. And what kind of data teachers and students need to share. It's important for us, since we are recording the video call, that the recording of the teacher is shared in our system, because then we process and generate activities, as you saw during the demo. And the learners, actually, what we are saving is all the learner performance. That's actually really important for us. As I was mentioning before to Hannes, we have a space repetition system. So we need to actually save information about the student performance in order to be able to customize and personalize the learning experience. I hope I answered to your question. And if you want to go more deep on the GDPR, actually, it's a topic that is really fresh for us, because we just did all the things to be compliant. It is a really important topic, I would say. Also here in China, actually, data treatment is becoming very, very hot topic. Okay, Sura is asking for English to Arabic and Arabic to English. Okay, for English to Arabic, we already have it. So it's much easier. So it means you learn English and you're a native speaker Arabic. The other way around, if you want to learn Arabic from English, it's much more complex. So yeah, I'm not sure which kind of use case you want. Okay, so Pat is asking, can third-party content be important to your platform? That's a really interesting point. So I have two answers. The first answer is that right now we are working on a Moodle integration. What does it mean is that, for example, if you're hosting your content in Moodle, then you can actually like have a plugin directly to Edugo, right? So you're bringing the content directly to Edugo. The second answer is, if you have actually third-party content, for example, you have video on YouTube, if you have the rights or is the copyright free, you can upload directly the video inside our platform. So you can import the video, and not only import the video, add all these interactive experiences. So you are empowering the video. Pat, if you have a specific use case, I would love to hear more, and maybe I can give you a better answer. Alexander, thanks a lot, and greetings all around the world. Grazie mille, Giuseppe and Nicole. Okay, thank you so much, Alexander. Nice to meet you. Okay. Sur, we will have a large market with Arabic. I completely agree with Sura, and that's actually our #1 language we're going to implement. Okay, so Pat has the last question. What is the level of security of the platform? Very last question. What data is deleted over time? Okay, so Pat, the level of security, of course, I mean, I'm not sure how deep you want to go in the security of the system, but our system is really secured. Both the authentication we're using, actually we're not doing authentication by ourselves, we're using third-party authentication systems, so the data of the users is safe. Yeah, if you have more specific discussion about the data security, maybe we can have a deeper conversation. And what data is deleted over time? We are deleting data only when a student gets inactive in the platform for a really long time, for like more than 3 years, then we're actually deleting this data. That's a little bit our data treatment policy, and we're keeping the data just because, you know, as I learned Spanish 4 years ago, I want to go back to my material. It will be a pity if that material gets deleted, because we are basically creating a student knowledge database that is there, and basically we are keeping it saved for 3 years. Of course, if the student keep being active in the platform, then the data stays in the platform. The student is inactive for 3 years, the data get deleted. Okay, thank you so much for all your questions. There was a really nice session, a lot of interaction, a lot of questions. I love it. If you guys, again, want to know more and wants to explore other parts of the platform, there is a lot of actually things to cover about our platform. There are a lot of functionalities. And if you guys want to actually watch more content like this, you can actually go in our YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube, write Edugo.AI. You can watch all the previous recording of the webinars, which actually cover many different topics. And yeah, subscribe in our channel on YouTube so you can get updated on new webinars. And as always, I wish to you a great day. Thank you, Nicole, for co-hosting the webinar. You were really nice too. And thank you all of you for all your questions.
Thank you all, guys. Bye-bye.
See you next webinar. Bye-bye. Bye.